Alright kids, we're going to talk about Justin Timberlake. In particular, his debut solo album, Justified. Of course, I would be remiss if I just talked about any artists and musicians and their music without at least mentioning the moments off the record. For instance, did y'all know that a JT malfunction led to the development of this here platform, YouTube? More on both of those things later. As of this recording, we are 1 month away from the 20-year anniversary of Timberlake's debut single, Like I Love You, and 2 months away from the 20-year anniversary of the album dropping. And look, Justified meant a lot to me personally. I mean, at the time, 19 to 21-year-old Jeff got cheated on a couple of times, all the while driving back and forth from Columbus to Cincinnati in order to attend broadcasting school. And with limited money and resources and not a lot of CDs to listen to for my 1 hour and 45-minute one-way commute, I listened to Justified a lot to help me deal with heartache. Now last week I made a video about White Boy Summer, and Justin Timberlake has like 4 of them. And critics of JT will say that he is the beneficiary of doing black music along with the patriarchy. And he fell awfully short of paying this back and forward somehow when women needed him to. And if I don't do this video poetic justice, there will be critics of me. But then there's critics of Justified. There may be a claim that the goodness or greatness of this album is the product of the producers who worked on it. Additionally, this album didn't have much of JT's personality and fingerprints on it, as it was clearly inspired by and sounds like Michael Jackson. And I get it, JT's falsetto is at least reminiscent of MJ, and his image in particular, when it came to promoting Justified, featured Justin wearing fedoras, gloves, and his shirt was flowing in the wind. But critiquing Timberlake for doing the best MJ impression is like dunking on Kobe for doing the best MJ impression. It worked for them. And it's not like others weren't emulating Michael Jackson. You got Usher, who, it's important to note, dropped an album the year before Justified came out. Beyonce, who I recently made a video about, another artist who got their start in a group and we knew it was only a matter of time before they became a superstar. Michael Jackson's little sister, Janet Jackson, we'll talk about that later, and of course, Justin Timberlake. But the Michael Jackson, Justin Timberlake comparison was a little different. Both were childhood stars in their own right. MJ was in the Jackson 5, Justin Timberlake had the new Mickey Mouse Club and NSYNC. Similar to when Michael Jackson was curious to create without his brothers as an adult going solo to film The Wiz, we got the opportunity to see what Justin would be like on his own when NSYNC did Gone, the first NSYNC single where Justin Timberlake sings all lead vocals, which was written by JT for Michael Jackson, who passed on it. See, there are parallels. But here's the thing. When JT was still with NSYNC, they also did a song called Girlfriend featuring Nelly, where the group got a chance to work with super producers, the Neptunes, Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo. That seems to be the relationship that lent itself to the Justified album. After all, Pharrell and Chad did about 7 beats that they wanted to give to Michael Jackson, but the king of pop turned them down because he wanted, quote, the super thug, a unique sound that the Neptunes provided for rapper Nori.
John McClane was like, man, Michael don't want that. He want that you giving Noriega. Oh, he want that super thug, you know. Oh, what's that other one y'all just did? Oh, no.
So those songs were ready and available for Justin. Meanwhile, Michael Jackson hit the world with his album Invincible the fall of 2001. So both Invincible and Justified could have been drastically different than what they became. Along with the Neptunes making 7 of the 13 songs, Timberland did 4, with the Underdogs and Brian McKnight doing 1 apiece. With that said, the first song on Justified is Senorita, produced by the Neptunes, and it served as the 4th single of the album. Denise Boyd of BBC said, quote, I was cautious about playing this album. Not only was Justin about to attempt to shake off the boy band image, but he would also be trying to catapult himself into the arena of urban music, a huge feat by any standards. The introduction, Senorita, immediately grabs your attention. In the style of a live performance, he leaves you wanting more, which is exactly what introductions should but rarely ever do. For me though, what I like about it most was the song structure. I don't know if this style has a name or not, but it went verse, bridge, chorus, second bridge like the first, chorus. This structure was used in 2 other songs on the album, and we'll get to those as well. Now, the second track on Justified is Like I Love You, featuring the Clips, the first single of the album. It was introduced during a performance at the 2002 MTV Music Awards. I remember there being an MTV launch devoted to this album being released as well. I thought Like I Love You was a bold move for Justin to introduce himself to the world with as a solo artist, but it worked. Even the verses from the Clips. This song sounds nothing like anything Justin or the Neptunes have done since. A critic wrote, over a lo-fi Neptunes produced track dashed with Spanish guitar, live drums, and planet rock-like electro bleeps, Justin proves that, while no innovator, he is a fine student. Maybe I need to make a separate video about my fandom of the Neptunes, but they did their thing on this song. The beat at the end could have been a whole beat for another song. Moving on to What You Got, the third track. It was produced by Timberlake. This song, and well, the project overall, showed and proved that Timberlake was more mature and was an R&B singer as opposed to just a boy band pop artist. This song discussed adult themes, unlike when he was with NSYNC. I think this is a bit overstated, but whatever. The song is fine. Take It From Here is track number 4. Of the song, Chad of the Neptunes said, girls are going to fall in love with that song. He added, it's got this great string section on it, and I think girls should be checking for some of those pickup lines. Guys are definitely going to steal some of them. So if a dude walks up and says something like, I want to be the lighthouse when you get lost, because I'll shine a light to help you across, you can thank Justin before you lay the smackdown. Take It From Here used the structure that I described a minute ago with Senorita. Verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, bridge, chorus. I love it. Can't recall if I've heard this structure outside of a Neptunes production. Yo, Frank Ocean once said, the best song wasn't the single. Well, for Justified, that's not true. Track number 5, single number 2, Cry Me a River, is the best song. It's a dope song. Timberlake gave us a khaki cack. It was everything we wanted and was waiting for. It's Timberlake 4-page letter enough for the R&B lover in me, and serves cold vengeance for the Jeff who got cheated on. Background: before this album came out, Justin Timberlake's girlfriend was Britney Spears, uber pop star and also an alum of the new Mickey Mouse Club. They were the it couple. At some point in early 2002, there were not only rumors that Justin and Britney broke up, but that she cheated on him with their shared choreographer. Justin took this and ran with it. He played the victim and it worked. The music video for Cry Me a River was so good, Justin left nothing to the imagination as he cast a Britney lookalike just to confirm in a not so subtle way that the song and video was about her, them. To give him a little credit, he did make himself out to be a vengeful creep in the music video as well, but we ate it up. I know I did. I was having trouble with women, so this was JT's right, I thought. He was the victim. But according to this article from Betches, quote, and that benefited Justin how? 1, airtime, headlines, etc. And 2, his record sales surely benefited from this publicity. For context, his first solo record, Like I Love You, was released in August 2002 and peaked at 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. But when Cry Me a River and his album Justified were released in November 2002, the media heavily speculated it was about Britney, which got his name in the press. Justified sold over 3 million copies in the US, while Cry Me a River peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, I could argue that much of this was due to Cry Me a River just being a dope song. No matter. Because of Britney's infidelity, Justin got a 2002 interview with Barbara Walters, an interview with Hot 97. This breakup was talked about in a 2006 interview with GQ. He called Britney a Madonna wannabe at some point and made a joke about them having sex during a skit on SNL. Which leads me to the media's interest in Britney's perpetual virginhood, like she's Mary, the mother of Jesus or something. She had to say that she was saving herself for marriage, which is weird and wrong. Beyond bringing her up in interviews, she made headlines in 2006 because the media speculated that his hit, What Goes Around Comes Around, was also about Britney, basically saying Britney's divorce from Kevin Federline was karma for cheating on Justin. Maybe he should have, let it go. I guess what we're saying is that what Justin could have done was shut his mouth, considering that, according to Britney, if we were to believe her, she said in an interview that Justin called her to maybe get back together, but warned her kind of asked her if he could use a model that looks like her in a video that's kind of about her. Britney kind of just went with it. Seems like JT was buddy-buddy with Britney behind the scenes. Anyways, Chad said that while the Neptunes aren't into sampling songs, they spent hours listening to a pair of classic Michael Jackson albums for inspiration during the sessions with Timberlake. Quote, "We listened to Off the Wall and Thriller a bunch of times to really get the feel of them and create something that's not a sample, but similar to those songs without recycling them," Hugo said. "We just wanted to recreate that sense of those timeless classic songs without any of the bling bling, hit me on my two-way style of new R&B. It has elements of the old and the new." The dated references. For me, the song that best exemplifies this is Rock Your Body. Very Michael. It was the third single of the album. A lot of people love the song. I wasn't really into it. Okay, Justin got an opportunity to perform this song with my first celebrity crush, Janet Jackson, in February of 2004 when she was the headline performer during the halftime show of Super Bowl 38. So, as I alluded to earlier, while singing the lyric, "Bet I Have You Naked" by the end of this song, on the word song, Timberlake ripped at the right side of Janet Jackson's corset-style top, and the entire cup of her costume and bra underneath came off. Her breast was exposed, revealing a pasty, I guess it's called. So something was supposed to happen, but it wasn't that. Apparently, the bra was supposed to remain on so it didn't show Janet's boobs to everyone watching on a Sunday afternoon. There are reports that Janet immediately started crying after leaving the stage. She was said to have left the stadium to fly home. That same night, though, JT released an apology to MTV News, which said, "I am sorry if anyone was offended by the wardrobe malfunction during the halftime performance at the Super Bowl. It was not intentional and is regrettable." There was later an interview with Access Hollywood where he smiles and calls the evening fun and says he loves giving y'all something to talk about. MTV claimed to have been blindsided by all of this. An ad executive with the network put much of the blame on Janet. Oh, and the Federal Communications Commission launched an investigation into the halftime performance after getting more than 500,000 complaints, seeing how there were close to 100 million people watching the Super Bowl live that night. I bet those same people, almost 20 years later, complained about J-Lo and Shakira's Super Bowl halftime performance as if they didn't know those two women were going to shake that thing the whole time. The Washington Post reported that Justin said during a radio interview that he was shocked and appalled to discover that a breast was underneath, and he's frustrated at the whole situation. Then came the Grammys, where the Academy reserved the right for Janet to decline her invite, or she would simply be asked not to come. Meanwhile, Justin could come, just as long as he would apologize for what happened, as he did. He won 2 Grammys for Justified and performed Senorita that night. In the interest of fairness, I want to point out that in a 2006 interview with MTV, Timberlake made this statement, quote, "It's an understatement to say that it was sort of unfair if you consider it 50-50. I probably got 10% of the blame," he continued, "and that says something about society. I think that America's harsher on women, and I think that America's unfairly harsh on ethnic people." As for Nipplegate, as many people had begun calling it, it was one of the earliest examples of a viral video. People who had TiVo'd the Super Bowl were rewatching the exposure of Jackson's breasts, so much that TiVo executives would later credit the incident with popularizing their company. The payoff. In February 2005, 1 year after Nipplegate, Chad Hurley and Steve Chen, along with Jawed Karim, created the video sharing platform called YouTube. In interviews, Kareem had said that Jackson and Timberlake's Super Bowl incident was one of the reasons they realized having a central website for user-uploaded videos would be successful. Kareem recalled the difficulty involved in finding and watching videos online of Jackson accidentally baring her breast during the Super Bowl show. Back up, because meanwhile for Janet, Demita Joe dropped, which was her 8th studio album. She had been working on it for 18 months leading up to the March 2004 release. Critics liked it, and it went platinum, but Demita Joe was the first album Jackson had released that didn't reach #1 in the US since her 1984 album, Dream Street. A report said CBS chairman Les Moonves was obsessed with ruining Janet Jackson's career after the incident. So we had FCC chairman Michael Powell fake outraging while Moonves ordered Viacom Properties, VH1 and MTV, and all Viacom-owned radio stations to stop playing Janet Jackson's song and music videos. David Letterman grilled Janet about her boob for like the first 10 minutes of their interview on his show. Jermaine Dupri Janet's boyfriend at the time, and who I'm still mad at for being with Janet, quit the Atlanta chapter of the Music Academy saying, "I didn't want to be a part of something that's not treating people in the right light. I feel like what's going on with Janet is unfair," according to Rolling Stone. He said it best. Think of it this way. Janet was supposed to do Super Bowl 36 2 years before she got her chance, but was scrapped for U2. And when they chose her to do her thing, I guess she performed only 2 of her songs, sharing the stage with Jessica Simpson, Kid Rock, Nelly, and Justin. 14 years later, Justin performed 11 of his own songs during the halftime show at Super Bowl 52, which included Rock Your Body as part of a medley. The only thing that could have made this worse is if it aired on CBS too. Also, in February of 2021, Timberlake issued his first direct apology to Janet Jackson in an Instagram post, following a huge public outcry after a New York Times documentary episode highlighted the abuses his ex-girlfriend Spears endured. Timberlake issued a new statement addressing Jackson. In Janet Jackson's documentary from earlier this year, she admitted that when Timberlake once said, "I don't know if I should come out and make a statement," she said, "Listen, I don't want any drama for you. They're aiming all of this at me. So I said, if I were you, I wouldn't say anything." So that's Rock Your Body. And Janet was also featured in the 10th track, and she says, "Take Me Now." You barely know she's there. Track number 7 is Nothing Else. To me, the Neptune sound is like the theme song to Taxi. Track number 8. If Cry Me a River is Justified's best song, Last Night is my favorite song. It uses that same structure I mentioned earlier with the double bridge, but this song also includes a blended stanza where Justin says, "The way I feel," back up singing himself while he's singing, "Regardless I'm dreaming," and they meet at "About You." When Justin sold out Madison Square Garden in like a day for the Future Sex Love Show in 2007, he performed Gone, Take It From Here, and Last Night in a medley, as those songs meant a lot to him. Still on My Brain, track 9, is a great ballad produced by the Underdogs. Track 11 featured Bubba Sparks. Track 12 is Let's Take a Ride. I really like this song. The final track of the album, number 13, Never Again, was written and produced by Brian McKnight and sounds like Brian McKnight. Nothing wrong with that. Justified debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 list. Justin Timberlake's first solo album sold 439,000 copies in its first week, and soon went on to become a certified 3 times platinum record with more than 3.9 million copies sold in the US. Justin should get more credit for what he contributed to this album. Documentary footage featuring him in the studio with these producers shows what he brought to the table. Besides, using icons and legends as templates for an artist's first project seems typical. Justin's second album reminds me of Prince. Oh, and I realized that I didn't go into a lot of detail with the songs produced by Timbo on Justified. So I would like to add that when it came time for Justin to make his second solo album, Future Sex Love Sounds, he reached out to Timbaland to recreate the magic of Cry Me a River, which led to What Goes Around Comes Around. That song, plus Love Stoned, I Think She Knows, produced by Timbaland, are better than any songs on Justified, despite Justified being a better album overall than Future Sex Love Sounds. And that's it. I don't mean for the title of this video to be asking for permission or forgiveness to talk about Justin and Justified. It was more like a warning. Thank you for listening to me about listening to this music. We gonna be all right.